What's up, guys? It's the Osmo.com Night Shift Podcast. Talking 3-game MLB slate for Thursday, September 6th. First day of football. Many people will not be focused on baseball, but we will still have the strategy video, the rankings, projections, ownership projections from Osmo himself. What else do we have? We will have the process show. That'll be more geared towards football as we kick off the NFL season from A to B with Andrew and Ben Raza. That will be at 2:30 Eastern. We will have, I believe, a deeper dive, although I don't know for sure about that. There will for sure be a live before lock stream. Chris and Josh will be on that. Again, probably talking mostly football. But Josh and I are going to break down this 3-gamer. And honestly, it mostly comes down to leveraging ownership. And that's why, at least for me, it's a nice thing that we have these great ownership projections that are, for the most part, very accurate. And so that's pretty much the name of the game is how can you leverage ownership on this 3-game slate? How can you get an edge on the field? So let's start out with Cubs and Nationals. We have Kyle Hendricks for 7,700 going up against Steven Strasburg for 8,600. I mean, the Cubs only have a 4.2 run total, so I would have to think that Strasburg is one of the higher owned pitchers on the slate. I mean, I should say salary doesn't look like a big issue, unless you're trying to jam in a full Cleveland stack with like Greinke and Strasburg or something like that. You could probably even do that. Like, just clicking on the highest priced guy at every position on DK, and I'm doing that right now if you can hear my mouse. I mean, you're going to have to get a little bit creative, probably punt somewhere. But, like, you can fit in Jose Ramirez and Francisco Lindor plus a bunch of really solid bats after that. So salary is not going to be a huge issue. I mean, you can't just click on every high-priced player, but Strasburg's got to be one of the higher-owned pitchers on this slate. I believe it's going to go Strasburg, Greinke at the top, then Bieber. And I could be way off. But anyways, I like the lefties against Kyle Hendricks. Not a huge fan of him as far as DFS. Someone that I don't hate targeting against, especially on short slates. So Bryce Harper and Juan Soto will definitely be owned. But I even like the full stack against Kyle Hendricks. I think he does blow up a little bit more often than people think. And he's someone that I'm going to target, especially if he's going to have ownership on a 3-gamer. I mean, everyone's going to have ownership, but I mean, if he's going to be even like 25 or 30%, I think that he's someone that I don't hate targeting on this slate, especially with a lot of high upside bats on the Nationals. Strasburg, 8,600. This is going to be, this is going to be interesting what you do with him here, right? Because is he back? Is he not back? I mean, I don't think he is. He had a good outing against the Brewers. He's gotten more swinging strikes his last 2 starts. The chase rate was up last start. The velocity is still lower on his fastball than we've seen. It got up to 96, 97 at one point. Last start, he was throwing an average of 94 miles per hour. So still a little bit worried about Strasburg. And if people think he's back because of his last couple starts, then he's someone else I'm going to probably target against. Cubs, similar to the Nats in that they have a bunch of power. So Rizzo and Daniel Murphy and Zobrist. Bryant is only 4,100. Not too difficult to fit in a full Cub stack. And that Nationals bullpen has been pretty bad as of late. We've seen them blow games in big ways. And if they get to Strasburg early and limit him to 4 innings or 5 innings, then you get half the game against that Nationals bullpen. That's really attractive on this slate. Cleveland and Toronto, we have, who is it? Shane Bieber going up against Marco Estrada. You can kind of make a case to play either of these two guys. I'm sure Estrada will probably be the lowest owned pitcher on the slate. He is 4,400, so he's going to get you an automatically different lineup construction. And we know Cleveland is worse on the road. They crush at home. They crush a little bit less on the road. And there are a bunch of lefties in here for Estrada who relies on that changeup, and so he could have a somewhat successful start and just be pesky enough to limit these Indians. I think people will see Estrada and just want to stack up Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez, and I totally understand that. And I will have a bunch of those guys if I'm running 150, but like Alonso and Kipnis and Greg Allen, I think I'm going to limit my Cleveland full stack exposure at the very least against Estrada, and I will have a bunch of Estrada just because I want to get as much differentiation on this slate. Especially if you have 150 lineups, you might as well use them to your advantage and get different lineup constructions in tournaments. Bieber, 8K on DK, and he's someone that I'm surely going to target against. So I like Bieber. I think he's a solid pitcher, strikes out lefties, can strike out righties, but really concerned with the quality of contact he gives up to lefties. So there's only 8 pitchers going today, and really 6 on this slate because DK, for some reason, didn't include the Cincinnati San Diego game on the main slate. Like, they could have made this a better slate. We could have had Chalk, Luis Castillo, could have had another pitching option in Lauer plus the Reds bats. Suarez for sure going to dong off of Eric Lauer. But anyways, DK did not include that game on the main slate. So that was a long way of me saying Bieber leads the entire slate in line drive percentage against lefties at 28%. That is really alarming. 52% hard contact, very little soft contact against lefties. A near 400 WOBA. So I'm looking at guys like Justin Smoke and Kendrys Morales, Billy McKinney leading off, only 3,600. And then against righties, like, he does a better job of limiting hard contact, but still 38%. And man, I mean, I really want to target him with lefties. I wish there was a few more in this Toronto lineup, but those 3 that I mentioned, I really, really like. Especially if, for whatever reason, Bieber is the popular pitcher in this price range. So, probably going to be lower on Bieber than the field, is what I'm trying to say. All right, last game of the night, Atlanta and Arizona. We have Anibal Sanchez going up against Zach Greinke. So, Greinke, 9,100. I think he will be pretty chalky. He's much better at home. Closest thing we have to an ace on this slate, in my opinion. So no issue playing Greinke. I think if I am targeting bats against him, it's probably, surprise, surprise, Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis. Acuna is way too expensive. I mean, I prefer a bunch of guys in the 5K range over him. Harper, Soto, Trey Turner, like pretty much everyone near 5K in that Cubs-Nationals game over Acuna. So he's probably going to be a guy to take a stand on. As far as the rest of this game, man, it's really hard to talk about a 3-game slate in any intelligent way. But so Sanchez, I really want to see what the ownership's going to look like on the Arizona bats, because Anibal Sanchez has been not even bad this year. He's been actually pretty good. Maybe not as good for real-life pitching, but as far as DFS goes, like, you look at the box scores, he looks fine. He is missing quite a few bats. Going to get a decent helping of righties here and bad lefties like Avila. Descalso will strike out. John Jay at the top. It's not that scary of a lineup for Anibal Sanchez, so I think I'm going to have a bunch of lineups that go Greinke and Sanchez and stack up the Cubs Nats for sure, and then the other game as well. So kind of lower on bats in this game than the other 2 games. All right, anything else to talk about in this game? I mean, it's just, again, it's a 3-gamer. Feel free to play it. Have fun in MME. You can go all in. You can differentiate. I mean, I'm going to look to differentiate as much as I can on this slate. Maybe even go with like 4-3-1s or 4-2-2s, or just get different in some way is the best advice I can give you for a 3-gamer. It's tough to do, you'll fall into different lineup constructions, but just know that if it's easy to get to on a 3-gamer, chances are you and 1,000 other people in the big, large field tournament are going to have that same thing. So that's going to do it for the night shift. Check out osmo.com. Check out our premium tab. You can see all the memberships we offer. MLB strategy video tomorrow morning with Josh. It will be abbreviated, maybe even some football talk on there. Who knows? So come and chat, hang out, and we will see you in the morning.